All right, here we are. It's another episode of Here for the Hang, and today's guest is my longtime friend and mentor. You know him and love him as the host of the Tinfoil Hat podcast, and he's a regular at the Comedy Store as well as all over the country. Mr. Sam Tripoli is here.
Hello, Carlisle. How are you? Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to the buggiest place on earth. I'm coming to you from Mississippi.
What do you mean by buggy? There's a lot of insects or a lot of horse and buggies?
Look, there's a lot of insects happening. I've got a citronella candle blazing. I'm trying.
Yeah, man.
I'm doing all I can.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's weird that you're blazing something in Mississippi. Isn't that usually crosses? Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Not in my yard.
Yeah, of course. How's it feel to go back in time?
Oh, my God, dude. I'm in the home of the silent majority right now.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Sam, it's your people.
For sure.
People are crazy if they do not see what's coming. I don't know. I don't know where I want to be in November.
Wherever they have the most guns.
Do you think they're going to burn LA down after the election? I mean, most guns, I'm coming here. I'm set.
I'd stay there. I don't know, man. I think there's a lot. Here's my whole thing, dude. First of all, I just want to say that this is probably one of the last of the. I'm really taking a break from doing other people's podcasts, so you're the last one I'm going to do.
You said that. That's why I was trying to get you.
Yeah, so
you said you were taking a week off. I'm like, shit. Did he forget that he told me he was going to record?
No,
this
I'm going to. After this, I'm not going to do outside of a couple Patreons. I'm going to. I'm taking a week off from the regular podcast, and then I'm going to try to slow down on it.
What is your purpose for that? Like mental health? What's your purpose for that?
Man, it's like I didn't expect for this thing to go this long, to be honest with you. And I realized that very early, when we had the babies, Martha's mom was nice enough to come and help us out. Because for every one baby, you need an extra adult. So if you have one kid, you need two adults. If you have two kids, you need three adults. And I don't know how. I mean, thank God Dr. Drew, had a wonderful career because supposedly he had multiple nannies helping because I couldn't imagine three kids. So
you're going to be at multiple nanny level one day. And
I don't know about that. I'm happy with my two.
I wouldn't even do it without one. I don't know how you're fucking doing it, dude.
It's
in a
just
pandemic.
Run and gun. But I started doing a lot of podcasting and, so her mom comes and, I'm so thankful that she's here that, we let her run the television, what's on TV, and she puts on like MSNBC or CNN and it's just all day. And I'm thankful she's here. So I don't want to say anything. So I'm just watching this knowing that like, people in the community, by community, I mean, conspiracy people just got to be watching this going, dude, this is just brainwashing and all this stuff. So I'm like, I want to give people something to watch and listen to and be entertained that isn't like, propaganda. So I cranked up the number of shows I was going to do on Tinfoil Hat from 2 to 3. And then I took my Patreon from like 2 or 3 a week to 5, sometimes 7. There were 7 at first. I'm like, that's just too many. So,
and you were doing like no coronavirus talk.
And then I did coronavirus talks because I couldn't, because I'm a big sports guy and I just couldn't go anywhere without hearing about the dumbass virus that just is. For the first time today, what's today? August 23rd. Mm-hmm. The first time ever on any of the radio stations, because I listen to sports talk. I'm an old man. I'll listen to sports talk. That's about it. And for the first time ever, I heard them actually going, I don't think this is what they're telling us. And I have never heard that. I mean, it's been a bombardment of like BLM and virus. Everywhere you turn, BLM virus. And I'm just like, people got to want to get away from this. And regardless of what they think of either of it, it's got to be like, there's no escapism anymore, which is what sports was meant to be. So that's why I started doing it. But now I'm kind of like, I got to take a break. I got to breathe, Yeah,
I get it. But you're still going to do your podcast with your babies though, right?
Yeah, my spiritual talk for children. Yes, I'm going to do it.
Love that podcast. See, this is the Sam Tripoli we never knew we needed to see. I mean, what does it do? Does having babies just soften you totally? Or,
Oh, 100%. I mean, 100%. You just like,
but you
you
still
love
hate
them.
the world,
It's like
clearly.
Sometimes when they wake up at night, I'm like, you want to let me get sleep. And then you see them, you're like, I love them. So it's like, people always like, it's a love you don't understand. And it's, it's just like, I don't remember a time that they weren't here. It's very weird. I don't know if you were a kid when you would think about infinity. You'd be like, I'm just going to think about how far in space I can go. And at some point, your brain's just like, okay, we're done. That's not happening. It's not. We're done.
Can't comprehend it.
Yeah, you can't remember when they're not here, and they've only been here 7 months. It's very weird. It's a psychological thing that Mother Nature does to you. And it's just like, because me, nothing ever is easy or normal. So I don't get one kid to start off with. The God's like, hey, here's 2 run and gun. There you go. And it's just like, you've waited tables, right? Have you ever waited tables, man?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, it's just like you have your station is full the entire time.
One baby, your station is full. One baby is like Vietnam, dude. Yes. I can't even imagine.
It is. And it's very interesting because people will be like, people who just had kids. I have a couple friends of mine who just had kids, and they're like, how do you do 2 kids? I'm like, those 2, your one kid is my 2 kids or our 2 kids are like your one kid. It's just, this is all we know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all you know. So you don't have anything else.
Postpartum is real. I sleep with somebody who I think wants to murder me constantly.
So how did this work? I wasn't sure how much of this I could ask you about. You have a baby mama. Do you have like a surrogate?
I have a girl, yes, my girl, and we have 2 children, and we're just loving them, hugging them.
Your girl
one looks like her, one looks like my mom, so we're blessed.
That's cute. Well, but she didn't want to do the birth though.
No, she did the birth.
Okay.
And it was crazy, dude. I was in there. It's crazy. One didn't want to come out. Ninja didn't want to come out. She jackknifed in the back like she just got caught robbing a bank, and she was surrounded, and she wouldn't come out. And they're like, come out. We got you surrounded. Like, I'm not coming out here. I see ya. And she just jacked in the back, and she wouldn't come out. It was crazy.
Is that why she's ninja?
Yeah, she's ninja. And their personalities are already here. Like, Ghost already wants to move out and get her own place and start dating dangerous guys. And Ninja's going to be just a little different. I think she's going to be like a hacker. That's what I see. But their mom has a nasty sense of humor, very cutting, and their dad talks a lot of shit. So these kids are going to be like just scorching the earth.
Your dad, you're going to be exposing your daughters to the biggest, wildest conspiracies before they can even talk. Of course, they've done many
podcasts.
She's going to be all into like WikiLeaks and fucking Jeffrey Snowden shit before she can even talk. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that means. I watch your podcast and not knowing very much. I get a lot of my news from you, okay?
Oh, thank you.
And people fault me for that. They say you're not a reliable news source. Now, I think I've gotten some really interesting tidbits personally. But I got to say, I really loved you recently on the Joey Diaz podcast whenever you're talking about because everybody is making me bummed out, man. Like Rogan when he's leaving and Joey Diaz, and they're all talking about the Comedy Store and the comedy scene as if it's a ghost, as if it's dead. And I loved what you said about, you're like, dude, this always happens. There's always a rotation where something happens and there's a mass exodus. And then there's a reset. And I was just like, oh, Sam, thank you so fucking much. Because as a comic, as a newer comic, much, much newer than you guys, like, it's just like, well, what the fuck are we going to do if we can't do comedy for a year?
I'm already weird, right?
Bombing in a park because I'm just starting to suck more and more by the day whenever I do get these little things. Like, what are we going to do? When do you anticipate it's back?
I don't know, man. Like this idiot Garcetti just said they're going to have to do outdoor sitting till the end of the year, which means it brings them into November, December, which is after the election, by the way.
Right.
And then you start getting into rain and bad weather. So what's going to happen? So I don't know. I mean, like, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, we are destroying the middle class and destroying, and the suicide rate is skyrocketing. And then you got a bunch of what's going on right now. It's we're empowering the weak. I can't go to fucking Rite Aid without some beta fucking tell me to put my mask on with having zero clue of what the science is or any of that stuff. And it's just like we're living in a world where the TSA is everywhere. You remember when you went to the airport and the TSA and you're like, this guy got C pluses in high school, which I did too. And now he's telling me what the fuck I'm doing all left and right and exerting power. And if you push any pushback, they throw little tantrums. Now imagine that instead of just at the airport. Now it's everywhere. And that's what we're empowering these weak-minded people to run everything. And it's just like
so true. And it's like, you know what? Why can the narrative not be, it needs to be less of like, oh, why didn't he go to that part? Or why did he have to go to that birthday party? It needs to be more of like, why was he obese and had diabetes and was
100%.
You know what I mean? Like he led an unhealthy lifestyle. It's not because he went to that one place. And people don't mention that a lot of the time in the news. There's no big narrative of like, take your vitamins, get exercise, stay in. Oh, be scared. It's like, well, that's going to weaken all of our immune systems, especially by the time winter comes around. People don't need another excuse not to go out and work out.
Isn't that everybody has the vaccination? Herd immunity is that everyone's had the virus and they now have the antibodies to beat it. That's what and that's the long game that gets played by these dark arts people. Fauci, if they did any research on their own, would know that he's considered the Hitler of AIDS. And that sounds very crude and dark, but it's true. He pushed I mean, like, I don't know how deep you want to go into conspiracies. But
I know what to expect when I have you on my show, Sam.
But, like when I went and got an AIDS test one time, the doctor came in and asked me if I was gay. He goes, are you gay? I go, no, I'm not gay. And he goes, okay. And he walked out and I came back with a negative. Obviously, I don't have HIV, right? So I'm like, what if I would have said I was gay? How would that test results be influenced? And then it comes down to like, I mean, if you go really deep, and this is like black belt shit, it's like, it's almost that the cocktail of drugs they gave the people were actually worse than the actual virus. And that's just the truth. So
now what they're saying too, with the people they put on ventilators, they never had a fucking shot, because once you go on a ventilator, your body gives up and essentially stops working. So now what they've learned is they kind of sacrificed those people in the beginning too.
Oh, did they purposely kill them?
They didn't know. And now,
I mean, you can also get into this is that, a lot of these cities are sanctuary cities and they were allowing illegals to come without being worried about being arrested. And Trump pulled their funding, so these guys were already hurting for funding. So now on top of that, you have to pay for these aging people, and seniors can't contribute anymore.
So
and now you have
sanctuary
baby
city, meaning like a lot of old people go there to live out their golden years.
No, I think sanctuary city, and let's look that up so I don't get totally destroyed by everybody, but. We'll look this up real quick.
A sanctuary city. It just sounded like
sanctuary city.
Well,
what is sanctuary city? Okay, here we go. A sanctuary city refers to that limit the cooperation with the national government. Oh, okay. So that's what I thought it was. It's basically where the local government would not enforce the federal laws on immigration.
Right. Got it.
So Trump pulled their funding, and and now with each death, each COVID they got money, so they were just trying to jack up all their.
Because people are dying, and it's not even from COVID. It's old age. It's many things. Dude, people are dying of broken heart syndrome because they get separated from their, these old people. You're with your spouse of, whatever, 55 years. You go into the hospital. You don't see them anymore. They're telling you
unless you're a famous politician and everybody gets to say goodbye. And these are the little things. The problem right now, really bad, is that people are doing mental gymnastics to come to this agreement of R's and D's. They are really allowing hypocrisy to happen. And, it's just like all the shit going. Listen, dude, I'm a registered Democrat. The last of the two-party system candidate I voted for was Obama in his first term. I have voted Democrat my entire life up until Obama's second term. And then I stopped voting because I just realized he was,
found out he was a lizard person.
Same clan, different tan. That's what I learned, okay? And he is part of the George Bush clan, and nobody ever wants to talk about that. But his grandfather and George Bush were like ninth cousins. Now, when you say ninth cousins, this is what I want to talk about.
You say Obama. You believe that he was a Manchurian candidate, right?
He was. His mother was a MK Ultra sex kid and was sent out to seduce a guy that they wanted to control, and she had his kid.
And there's
naked pictures of her on the internet.
This blows my mind.
Back before naked pictures were like, now it's like if there's a chick out there without naked pictures, I think she has mental illness. But back now, right? So it's like everyone's got naked pictures out there.
But back then, no way.
No, dude.
So was this in Hawaii? Was this like his mom in Hawaii, or?
Yeah, I've listened to the whole where was he born? I don't know, but you could look it up, man. There's pictures of her naked everywhere. She was MK Ultra sex kiss, and she's set in to seduce this guy, and she had his kid, and he was grown. He was raised to be the president. And
you knew that before you voted for him, and you didn't care?
No, I just learned all this shit. I've been getting a lot of crap because people are like, you're a brand new conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, I've always been a conspiracy theorist. I just never, I was never into the truth is YouTube didn't become something to me till a couple years ago because I was just doing stand-up all the time. And the only thing I cared about was and I was doing a lot of coke too. So I was doing a lot of coke and stand up, and I didn't really care about loose change videos and conspiracies. I was too busy running and gunning. I didn't care about that. Well, I had a podcast.
People in the OR.
Yeah. Well, dude, it was a wonderful time, and I would never change that for $1 million. I loved that time. It was fun to find who I am. But now it's like after I watched Hillary Clinton just jack the primary from Bernie Sanders. Now, here's the whole thing. The people I was learning from that this was happening were all liberal people, like Lee Camp, Jimmy Dore. These were because I still consider myself a liberal. I'm just an old school liberal, which is now more libertarian. But it's I'm more, but I'm all for live and let live, man. Whatever you want to do. It's what's the old saying? I just want to go to my gay friend's wedding and fucking grow crops of weed with my guns. That's kind of the world I would like to live in. Is that what they say? Yeah, there's a whole saying is that. I don't even know what the fuck the saying is, but it's along the lines of that. So to each their own, man, and that's really my whole thing. But yeah. I just dude, this it's from Reagan to Obama is the same group.
Do you think that the days of screaming at people in the OR are over, or do you think it's going to come back?
No, I will always scream at people. It is one of my gifts. Because we all have a skill. I don't know what's going to happen.
But this YouTube thing, I'm new to it too, dude. I just got on it because of coronavirus and being locked up. And it's it's good and bad because you are opening yourself up to a lot more feedback than you are whenever you've got a microphone.
Okay, so you're talking about you doing YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about whenever, do you argue with a lot of people back and forth about your politics, or, because you talk about some outlandish shit?
Well, you catch me at an interesting time because I am now
taking
over
a break.
it.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
But did something
Even when I
happen,
come back, I'm
Sam?
over it. What?
Did something specific happen?
without getting too much into it, like I've been really let down by the LA comedy scene.
Okay.
I don't like what happened to a couple of my friends. I don't like how some people got a lot of shit and some people didn't.
Right.
I don't like that. I believe that there's, and I'm not going to get into too specific, but I believe there were people in the cliques that were complicit in helping taking these people down and to save their own ass. And to me, that's disgusting. And it's super sad. And a great thing is now, who knows if the pieces will ever come back together like that. And who knows where the Comedy Store will be. And who knows what happens to the store, because the store was the last vestige of like what comedy could be in LA, because everything was coming out of New York and they were more comedian, you know, like it's New York City is more about stand up. LA's more about your brand. And some people might look at that and be like, oh yeah, stupid brand. But for me, it was like, diversify. Why just be working on stand up when you could be building your YouTube up, which is to me the the Underground Railroad to financial for freedom, but that's all gone. Now I'm disgusted.
I could just be, lip singing what Kamala Harris says maybe, and I could get a Netflix special.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing about that is like, I don't know that girl. Maybe it's wonderful. I don't know. But the true matter is like that Netflix is going to kill itself. All the rats from Viacom have all gone to Netflix and they're going to drive that into the ground. And it's just like, that's the beauty of it, man. Like it's becoming peer to peer. And that's the best part of it. Mm-hmm. It's like we're entering a golden era, and all these phony fucks.
You can't deny the ratings on YouTube. They're right there. You can't deny ratings.
Well, they can fake those for sure, YouTube. But that doesn't matter because you'll do, all you got to do is work on it and build it. I mean, like this cancel culture shit has nothing to do with right or wrong morals and being good people. This has everything to do with kneecapping people so that you could take their jobs. That's right. What this is all about.
That's right. And people that are in your circle and people that have directly put money into your pocket before, which is the fucked up part. And I had a couple of videos on this, Sam, and I don't know if you saw any of them, but like my whole thing is, look, I don't know what they did behind closed doors, but what the LA Times did by putting out each of those articles was disgusting. Because if you read the facts, just the facts, like my first video did, I just read the article, the Crystalia one, each one ends with, he never met so-and-so. He never met so-and-so. I'm sitting here reading it going, wait, is nobody like getting to the end of this?
100%.
And then the next day, the Daily Mail comes out, nobody fucking reads that. And all the open micers have already had all their hilarious tweets, their pedophilia tweets. And it's like, but dude, nobody's coming to the belly room to your bringer show to see you. Whenever I had to get the fucking 5 people to come see me, it was always 5 hot chicks would be like, is Crystalia going to be in the main room? I'm like, yeah, girl, come on down. We could go see him after my set.
I saw so many guys so many women and men throwing him under the bus, collecting checks from him all the time.
Well, that's the thing. And I don't know him personally. And my video, again, look, if a bunch of weird shit comes out, I'll take it down. But as of now...
Or you can just admit you're wrong, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, dude, listen, if you go through life only trying to be right, you're going to set yourself up for failure. We're human beings, and we're flawed. But we have instincts, and you can read your instincts, and your instincts are right. Now, does that mean that somewhere out there, Chris didn't do something weird? I don't know, man. And like I said, if he comes out, then Chris got paid the price. And I talk to Chris every here and there. We'll text every once in a while just to see how he's doing. Because it's ugly. And then what's really happening is like people got mad that he did really well. And they also got mad that he gave dick to half of fucking LA. And all these chicks got dick downs and they got really upset because they didn't get to become the queen. And guess what? As far as I know,
you didn't get chosen to be the #1 baby mama in the end. And now you're butthurt about it. And
we're literally talking about being a poon hound. And there's no There's no law against fucking being a poo-on. Ladies, you don't like poo on? Guess what? Stop fucking the dudes who you know are fucking everybody. But you won't, because those are the best dicks to bang, and you fucking know it. And that's what happens. You
I
take
would
a shot at the
say-
title.
Don't be a victim and always saying like it's always about this power imbalance, but you're forgetting that pussy is power.
Yes.
So stop being a victim. Like there's a different way to look at it. It's like, half of those stories, if you had another perspective, it's like, well, you're trying to use him and get something out of him from your pussy. You're hitting somebody up that you don't know and saying like, hey, I want to, what did the one girl say whenever she was like, no strings attached, want to suck your dick or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
how is that an imbalance of power from him?
80,000 tweets, retweets saying, so one day I saw Chris is in town, so I thought it'd be hilarious if I just hit him up. You're lying. So she basically said she hit him up. He goes, hey, come over. She comes down to the, she's at the bar. He says, come on up. She's like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, okay, later. And now then she just completely lies about her intentions right there.
Yeah.
She completely lies about her intentions, and her intentions was to get a dick down from the king. Listen, dude. Listen, man. I love
the
Bryan
pendulum's
callen.
going to swing the other way. The pendulum's going to swing the other way.
Well, here's the thing, Carlisle, and the truth is, we know a lot of these girls, and they're scandalous bitches, and they're lying. They're trying to act like they walked, and that's the whole thing. It's like, how many of these girls how many of these leaders in the Me Too movement got their first credit on Chelsea Handler, which was a woman who fucked her married boss to get a TV deal. Now, for me, dude, I'm like, you go, girl. Whatever you got to do to take it. I loved sex and I loved coke. Chelsea and I should have been good friends, but instead, she took this high road, and now she's dealing with the sins of her past, okay? And she's trying to act like she's like above it all when she's just a fucking filthy animal.
Look,
and it's like nobody talks about that.
Exactly like you, same size, same stature, everything, different skin color. She would have been all over you, Sam. You would have been fucking in with
if
Chelsea.
I had more power. I mean, like, she was the first person I knew. Like, I won't say that we were super close, but we were really cool. And she blew up and acted like she didn't know anybody. And that's when I first, and I hated it so much. I did a showcase for a show, and she was there in front of her boss. I did a joke about sleeping your way to the top. Probably cost myself $100,000, but it felt real good. It was one of those punk rock moments that I really fucking loved. But that's what this is. See,
but then everybody wants to be happy about Kamala Harris and not pretend like that's not a thing there as well.
That's the hypocrisy of that. That's the whole hypocrisy. It's not, but that's a whole different thing than cancel culture. That's a whole different game. That's like that's just a whole different psyop of chaos.
But no matter what the industry, what I'm saying is there's going to be women that are going to do that because pussy is power too. Like I'm tired of everybody being a fucking victim, and just because you're a woman, it means you can't get it or you can't just. The Comedy Store puts the funniest comedians on the lineup, period. All these women that are bitching about the fact that it's not enough even guys and girls, I don't want to be on a lineup where it's even guys and girls. It should be the funniest people. Nikki Glaser manages to get on it. Fucking Annie Letterman manages to get on it. Like, there's people that are on that list that are not men, so you can't sit there and say that, like, it's not possible. So if it's possible...
And where should they go? When you look at that lineup, who do you take out of there? Now, the last probably 4 spots now are the diversity showcase part of the show, which sucks because that used to be where the savages went, where the people who were a little too raw for early and nobody could follow. Those people don't get spots there anymore because that's for where we got to put the people on there. And that's not against any of the comics there because I know them all and they're wonderful comics too. But... And you listen, dude, the Comedy Store changed. It became a business place, which I have no problems with because if it doesn't make money, they're going to knock it down and turn it into a fucking Chinese condominium. So I don't have any problems with that. But the truth of the matter is, it's like, you're totally right. It's like, who do you take out of that lineup?
You can't bitch about it not being even is what I'm saying. Like, I want it to not be even and still be on it. if that makes any
And
sense.
here's the whole thing. It's like, there's people like you, Kate Quigley. I'm going to throw Whitney Cummings in there. You guys work so fucking hard, and you've moved up the lineup moved up the ranks of the comedy community by working hard, and like all these do nothing bitches, like seriously crying about not getting opportunity, thinking that the only reason they're not getting opportunity is because they're a chick. And the truth of the matter is, if you're a little bit funny, there's a lot of opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is, because it's not about right and wrong. It's about creating a world that plays to their strengths and outlaws their weaknesses. Okay? They don't like anything that they can't do, so they try to outlaw. And on top of that, some of these chicks don't know the difference between infamy and fame.
Yeah.
They think being infamous is being famous. They don't realize, dude, when you do this shit, nobody wants to work with you. Now, if you really got dinged, you really got fucked, like somebody did some sexual assault, I think the world wants you to come out and do something and go to the cops. Now, if you go to the cops, they don't do anything, then you go to social media and then you start giving up the proof. But dude, most of these people are like, like the whole Chris Hardwick thing. She literally goes, he was a meanie. You know, it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's just a bad date. It's not assault. And I was seriously worried about female comedians coming after me. And a few have personally called and asked me to take stuff down. But I stand by what I stand by as far as I don't want to live in a world where the LA Times can take yours or my text conversations out of context and run with it and make some kind of a fucking story. I don't want to live in that world as a human being, but damn sure not as a comedian, because guess what? We're fucking degenerates, and we never claimed to be anything else. Like,
when did we
it's
become
not like
this?
I'm running for vice president.
When did we become a moral high ground? I mean, like, dude, Richard Pryor used to smoke crack and beat his wife. But Sam Kinison used to do a lot of drugs and shot up the Comedy Store fucking with guns. Jerry Seinfeld, who is like the clean comic of the universe, fucking used to date a 17-year-old with the biggest tits on the planet. Everyone's like, she's underage, but those titties aren't underage. And then you had Bill Cosby, who's Bill Cosby. I mean, dude, stand-up comedy started in strip bars. Like, guys would have to bring up strippers. That's what their job was. That's where MC comes from.
Yeah, it was a step away from vaudeville in the beginning, like just the complete like outcast of the world, and like,
we come from scumbags.
The freak show people, and it was all together at one point, comedians and jugglers and like. Have you ever read that?
What happens, Carlisle? It starts making money, and it starts by outlaws. Everything always starts by outlaws. Mm-hmm. People could only do this. Well, great example is the UFC, right? You have MMA, and they had this thing where like truckers would be like act like they were mixed martial artists and come in, and you had dudes they could punch in balls and gouge eyes, and it was just meddling. But then it started making money, and then all of a sudden ESPN's in it. Now it's super corporate, and the nerd dork.
And then you got to have agents and managers and people to count the money. And it's like, listen, that's when
if you're getting dicey. Shit, Carlisle, those people were never going to come to your show and buy a fucking ticket. We're going peer to peer right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the scariest thing is somebody who is not that you're conservative, because I'm not conservative, but you're like, you're a raw human being, and you have raw takes, and that scares all the cookie cutters, because they can't
what
compete
am I
with
supposed to talk about? That's what I'm saying. Like, we're coming to a point where now I've got a fucking mic in my hand, and I'm like, well, fuck. Now everybody's listening, and now it's it's like pitchfork society all of a sudden. I don't know what I want to say. I don't know you know what I mean? Like, you get in this place where it's like, what's going to get me canceled? What's not? And especially as a woman, are you fucking kidding me? Those videos that I put out, this is what I wanted to say earlier, though. I did get a lot of support from women, too, which surprised me. And it was sexual assault victims. Like, Chris D'Elia, he's got a huge fan base. So I got a lot of DMs on that thing, right? I'm telling you, I got multiple from sexual assault victims saying thank you. Because the girls that, are the ones going to the LA Times, and that calls attention away from real assault.
100%.
And I never thought that I would get those kinds of DMs based on that video. But I'm just trying to call it like I see it, but I've already said so much that I'm already like, should I edit that
Carlisle,
out? Should I
listen to
edit? We
me.
live in that fucking world,
Build your pirate ship. Raid
Yeah.
some people. They can't take away from you. But if you have your own
I don't have
pirate ship.
anything. I'm
Yeah, well, you
podcasting
will.
from my porch.
Yeah, so what? Dude, less talented people have done huge things. It's YouTube, man. You just got to treat it like you treated anything else in your life.
I love that we're all on an even playing field now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We got
yes.
stripped from our shit. It's like I have the same platform as fucking Paris Hilton is trying to do a YouTube thing now. You know what I mean? Like we're all YouTube.
But the difference between you and everybody else is you have a wonderful take in life. And I tell people, man, don't worry about what anybody's saying, man. Just crank it to 1,000. Now, people could be like, well, look what happened to Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz got clipped in a mob-style hit on Joe Rogan, and that's a fact. And everybody can call me crazy, but it's the truth. Rogan, nobody was sucking Joey Diaz's dick for stage time in the belly room. It was a coke time. Everyone was doing blow and making bad decisions, and everybody was participating. I was there during that time. Nobody was sucking anyone's dick to go up in the belly room. Nobody wanted to go up in the belly room.
Did that really do anything to Joey? I feel like he just laughed that off and he's like, yeah, you thought that story was bad? You need to listen to this one, motherfucker. He's got a million stories like that.
For sure. No, I don't know if it had any repercussions for him because he has a pirate ship and the dude is as real as fuck. And you got to be whoever you are. You have to crank it to 1,000. You got to crank it up because the truth of the matter is the suits are gone. You don't need the suits anymore. Now you're just trying to get as many people to listen to you as possible. You're trying to find your tribe. You want to vibe with your tribe. So you got to go hard in the paint on that and just go hard. Listen, man, we are entering.
You've always inspired me with that. Because it starts small. You get your little, I got my hang gang now. But you guys, like, I've seen it with watching Tinfoil Hat. Like, you guys had 3,000 people streaming last night.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty big empire you got there.
Have you heard about Josh Wolf when he streams? He streams doing mushrooms. 75,000 people watch him stream live doing shrooms.
That sounds so fucking fun. I want to be on that show.
Well, you should hit him up, man. Next time you're in LA, I'll tell him that you'd be great for it. But, it's like, hey, you just listen to me. As we are, I'm 47 and, 50 is going to be an interesting time because I think you're officially no longer a youth, right? But I have a young mind and I wear a mohawk, so who knows what's going to happen. But the point is this, 50? Carlisle.
3 more years of this?
What?
You think we'll make it to you turning 50?
World? They're always talking about that. They've been doomsday since the start. Maybe, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's say we have 3 weeks left in the universe. What are you going to do? Cry the whole fucking time?
No.
Might as well go out and be the best you can be and have a great time. And when it hits, you'll never know it. So why even fucking worry about it? So the point is this, man. We are entering an age of enlightenment, okay? If you stop watching the news, and this is going to be the crazy part, if you get off social media, you wouldn't even know there's a virus. You wouldn't even know that Orange Man bad. You wouldn't know any of that shit. You would be like, wow, dude, my YouTube's doing great. I'm starting to grow. Like, I don't know how many subscribers you need to get to. If you have 1,000, are you up to 1,000?
We just need 50 more, you guys.
All right. Well, we're going to get you over that with this, and we'll get you over to your views, and you'll get monetized. And then you start doing that little stuff. And these are the little things that matter. And Carlisle, listen to me. Joan Rivers worked until she was 80 because she had a real take in life. She had an opinion, and she never pulled her shots. She always went hard. So whatever it is, man, go hard in the paint. And here's the thing. When they know you don't give a fuck, it's real hard to go after you. It's real hard. It's real hard. And
so how do you not give a fuck?
What?
How do you not give a fuck?
You just don't give a fuck.
You're better at that than me.
You just got to not give. Listen, you're a wonderful person. At some point, right? Some point, I must say, for me personally, I realized I wasn't a cool kid. Now that sounds like could be I'm not one of the cool kids. When I mean cool kids, I mean dork, fuck, theater nerd assholes who like work together to box everybody out because they can't compete with anybody. But I learned that very early. Okay. So that was a blessing. I didn't know at the time, but it was a blessing that I learned that I wasn't cool with that. No matter how nice I treated them, I would never be part of their cool kid crowd. They never let Rudolph play in their reindeer games. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to build my own shit. Started producing my own show, The Naughty Show. Took that as far as I could, but because the industry sucked and the internet wasn't what it was now, I just couldn't get any traction. So that stopped. I did like 3 or 4 more podcasts on the feed. That I had a falling out with one of my friends who I love the pieces now, but at the moment we had a falling out. And right then, Hillary Clinton started kneecapping Bernie Sanders in the primaries, and I said, you know what, I might start a conspiracy podcast. So I said, and I said, what is the worst term for conspiracy theorists? I go, tinfoil hat. I'm going to take that and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to make it a positive thing that everyone brings together, and then it just starts growing. And then you know what you learn, dude? You start treating people well. You be a nice person to people. People want to help you out. You throw them a little scratch here and there, they'll run through brick walls for you. But listen,
you've always been that person. You help out everybody.
So you could do it too. You just got to do it. You just got to be like, I got to treat my podcast like I just opened up a shop on Melrose. Okay. And I got to keep this shop going. And guess what? You and I got out of the 9-to-5 job so we can get a 24/7 job. We just didn't know it. Right. And that's just what it is. But if you talk about things you love, you'll blow up. So how do I do it? Right. I've had a couple things blow up. Now they're about my friends. I've had a couple rants blow up. Chris D'Elia rant, Bryan callen rant. Right. Mm-hmm. But all you do is you take what is the big topic of the day and just rant on it. Write down, here's what you do. You write down 5 points on it. Right. Mm-hmm. And then each one of those 5 points, you put like 3 PowerPoints of that 5 point. You spend about 2 minutes on each one. You get a half an hour rant, and now you're out and you put the keywords in and you keep going. And you just be you, but you crank it to 1,000. And then you start learning all the bells and whistles of YouTube, and they'll start hitting.
Do you know that I have a really good impression of your Chris D'Elia video? Would you like to see it?
Okay, yeah.
All right. If he did it, he's going to pay. Okay? But the way you guys are killing this guy.
If Chris did this, he's going to pay.
You're killing him.
You're killing this guy.
Someone recorded it. That was wonderful. Nobody ever does impressions of me, so when somebody does it, I fucking love it.
My neighbors think somebody's screaming.
So my whole thing is somebody recorded it weird and it only came out of the left stereo, but for some reason it added to it sounded like the Underground Resistance and people loved it. Chris texted me.
Put some reverb on it.
He said he loved it. He started crying and I was like, you know what, dude, I felt really bad, man. I mean, imagine being on the top of everything and just everybody just destroying you. And
you know
it's
what
just
I keep
people you
thinking
love.
about too? The baby. He's got a newborn kid at home. And
have you seen that kid? That looks exactly like Chris D'Elia. It is.
Oh my God!
It's a little D'Elia face. It's amazing.
Aw, but I just keep thinking of what a shitty time to be. You're supposed to be immersed in joy and love, and then I've got to imagine that every time he picks up his phone, it's like, I mean, he probably can't even look at his phone.
Well, it's just and there's a lot of people.
Maybe it forces him to be in the moment. Maybe it's a good thing, and he's just totally tuned out. I don't know.
At some point, he's going to go back. He just has to be ready for all the bullshit that people are going to say and just start blocking people. Listen, man, never underestimate how good a
Louis
block
came
feels.
back. Yeah. Blocks feel good.
Dude. So Brody
I've only
Stevens,
been on the other end of those.
What?
I've only been on the other end of those.
I'm over that too. I'm over arguing with people on the internet. It's like my friend Eddie Bravo once said, he goes, you know what? If you don't want to believe it, you don't want to believe it. I don't care. But, I'm done trying to convince people. At this point, you don't understand what's going on. I can't save you. I'm done. I'm done. See, here's always the problem. I don't ever go after anybody on the internet. It's always my friends who disagree with me making a comment. I make a funny comment back. Then they come serious. And then I just destroy them and they get their feelings all hurt because that's how it's always been with me and my friends since I was in very young grade. We in college, they used to call it the Tripoli low blow, where I just kneecap you. But
those Tripoli blows can't even do that. Deep. Yeah, you can't do it now. You got 2 infants at home. You look at their face and you just can't muster the
Carlisle, no, you have a wonderful point of view. You're very funny. I've watched you grow so much in comedy. You're like, dude, you don't understand, man, how hard it is to go from an open micer to opening for a great comic on the road, and to it's so hard. Yes. And it's like you've done it, and it's like, I always love watching comics go from open micer to whatever level they are. Sometimes they go rate the headliner, which I think is a really weird thing. And it sounds like a blessing. I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is. I think it's better to watch. Because that happened to me. I went rate the headliner. I had to learn all the rules the hard way, and it sucked. Mm-hmm. But you've done it, and it's like I see people do that, and it's like so fun to watch. I mean, like Tim Dillon, I watched him. I met him when he was the host at the stand in New York, and now look what he's great thing. But because he's got a point of view, and like you have that point of view, you just have to be
the host at the Ha, and that was like my fucking Vietnam, dude. Like that was just like hours and hours, and like hosting an open mic gets you the hours in quick. Like it just gets that because you can't do the same jokes every single week, whenever you're a host, because people are like, we heard this shit, and they'll walk out of the room. So you always got to be writing. And I feel like it pushes you. Like if there's any new comics, you have to fucking host open mics when the world opens.
Oh, it's the best. It's how I started in Vegas. We had no comedy.
The best advice you gave me when I started out was run rooms too, because whenever you run rooms, that's a currency. And if you have spots to give, you're going to get spots, and those spots are going to make you better.
No, I agree with that. But I started Broken Simulation because it's my new podcast, one of 37 podcasts I have.
I know, what is this one?
This one's called Broken Simulation, and it's meant to be more comedy. Sometimes it gets political because it's in my bones, but I use it. I try to come up with one story or something that happens to me every day. I write it down, and then I'll go on the podcast, and I'll have like 5 stories, and then I'll just talk them out. I go, okay, that worked, that didn't work, and I'll throw out the stuff that didn't seem right, and then I'll go up on stage after I kind of wrote it into this podcast, and I'll feel it out. And dude, I've gotten a ton of new material by doing that. And it's like I do these rants now. It's like, dude, just work on jokes that way. Yeah. Just like write down some shit that happened to you and just fucking riff about it, and you'll hear it in your head. It's like we can't get on stage as much as we used to. But listen to me, man. You blow up your YouTube, you'll get as much stage time as you want. And the only way to blow up is just being authentic as fuck and just learn. You'll learn the bells and whistles, the shiny thumbnails and all that shit. That will come with time. But right now, just put up content. They just want to see you have content.
I feel like this is just you mentoring me, and people are watching. So
well, I started this new podcast. I got another one called Zero, and it's a spiritual podcast because I've always on tinfoil. I always wanted to do these kind of shows, but they want conspiracies. So, and I get that, and I'm thankful that they listen. But for me, man, it's just like, my friend Jordan, I told you the story about Jordan. He was, he's trying to find work in acting, started travel YouTube channel. His life fucking changed. And it's like, I told that story to Theo Vaughn. He'll tell you that. I told him that story and it changed. And so I tell it to everybody. And some people want to do stand-up only so they don't have to grow up. Okay. Some people do stand up because they can't do anything else. And like when you can't do anything else, you better fucking hustle. Okay. Yeah. Because it's a competitive field. But here's the thing. It's so saturated and there's still not enough people. So if there's too much of this, it's just not enough. You just got to be the best you could be. And that just comes from cranking it up and not being afraid. Obviously, there's things that you can't do. you know, or some people can't do. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. I'll drop an N-bomb. I don't give a fuck. But, you know, those things might not be in everybody else's portfolio. So
Right.
you do things
with my Southern accent, whenever I do that, it tends to go a different way. But, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're a white chick and you've banged black guys. You usually get to get a couple N-bombs out there. You know, it's very hard to be.
Only in bed is what I say. Only in bed. Well, we use it. That's
I
the
know
only
people
time.
don't think that, but that's a real thing for me. Like, being called the N-words while in bed is like something. It was one of my fetishes, and it's just.
Look, not everybody has dated a black guy with the plantation fantasy, though, so it's hard to explain.
Isn't that weird, though? Fetishes are weird. They're just weird, and it's just because we have it so good. Right? That our minds, like, we're past the point of having to mate to survive as a species. So like, there's enough of us out there. Right? So now we're just wandering into
have to find other shit.
Weird shit. And it usually has to do with something while you were having sex or you were young, something when you were
something
young.
During development.
It's so weird shit. And that's another thing. Like, you know, it's like, these Me Too movements very rarely go the other way because guys are just so thankful women are doing weird shit. Yeah. And girls they could just flip on a dime at some point. They could be enjoying it. And then a year later be like, I didn't like that. And then it becomes an issue.
Or shit, 21 years later. Oh my God. I'm so glad that I got you on the podcast, Sam. Before
I'll do yours again when I come
up.
back. I feel like I just lectured you the whole time.
No, this was great. And we didn't even talk about Free Britney, but.
Well, let's do that real quick.
Okay.
She's getting manipulated.
She's totally getting manipulated by her dad, who.
You know, I was in a Britney Spears video, and that they wrote Dana wrote a Britney Spears video based off one of my sketch videos that I had made called Fake Heat, which was a story about me going down to Home Depot and getting some Mexicans act like they were my paparazzi, and they would take pictures of me wherever I went. And I was doing all this shit, the fake heat, right? And at the end of the day, my friend Andrea, who had like the biggest cans in the world, she was like my girlfriend, but then she went and fucked Bobby Lee and left me because I had fake heat, not real heat. That video was the inspiration for a Britney Spears Piece of Me video. And I'm in the video.
If you go look at a Piece of Me, you'll see a Sam Tripoli, and you're recognizable because of your glasses, right? You still had the big Sam Tripoli
I have no beard.
Glasses.
Yeah.
You have no beard. Nick Youssef is also one of the paparazzi. Fun fact, he told me this story too.
Nick Youssef, Skippy Simon.
Which one of you gets stepped over by Britney Spears?
Me.
You. Okay.
Yeah, I look up where babies came from.
And what? Tell us about that moment. Did you? I
looked up. I mean, I could make the story crazy, like I saw her woo woo, but she's wearing underwear, so I didn't want. I would never want to be disrespectful. She's been through so much already.
She's been through so much.
She's the female version of what Mike Tyson is to guys. Like, Mike Tyson was so big culturally when he fell so far. People are like, whoa, what's going on here? We can't have this. This is Mike Tyson. And he kind of like slowly helped to prop him up. They're like, oh yeah, sell weed. You're doing great. We love it, you know.
You're doing great, buddy. It's good weed too. I've tried it.
And but you know,
the thing that's funny to me with the whole Britney thing is like, I've been following her on Instagram for a long time, and the Instagram used to be all the kids. It used to be weird, but the kids were in it. You don't ever see the kids. For years now, you have not seen those boys. They actually have a restraining order. Her children have a restraining order against her father, who's her conservator. So that's the saddest thing right there. It's like she's under his thumb, and he can't be around the kids.
And he's drugging her, and he's not the first one. Allegedly, I gotta say that, allegedly, because, you know, when she did the video, he had kind of been a white knight at that point because he had come in and got rid of that old boyfriend she had who was drugging her. Mm-hmm. And then that's when the video came out, the Piece of Me, and it was done by this very talented director, Wayne Isham, and he basically put out this great video that saved her. And then the dad came out.
But even that, didn't y'all say that she was like late to the shoot? Kind of had to be like, that was hard to even get her to come out.
Yeah, it was hard because she's going through stuff. But you got to realize at that moment,
comeback performance, that was around that time too on MTV, where she's literally just being propped up and passed around, falling back, falling into this dance.
Well, it's all the Mickey Mouse Club kids. That's what this is all about. Like they take these talented kids and just put them through hell and snap them.
And those drugs that they gave her obviously did something that was permanent. I mean, she's not the same Britney that we once knew. And I have a friend that works in psychiatry that told me, like, a conservatorship, you don't just put somebody under conservatorship. Like, that is a big fucking deal that her dad is in charge of her and she's this grown woman. It's more than her beating the Suburban with the umbrella. It's more than her shaving her head. Like, my friend said, you wouldn't even do it to somebody that had, like, tried to commit suicide. It would have to be, like, multiple suicide attempts, multiple hurting the children. Like, there's stuff that we don't even know if she was put under a conservatorship.
Well, you know how much money? She's making so much money, dude, and they all jacked her shit. Yeah. They jacked all of her cash.
And now they're making her work. You know, she had that residency or whatever, and that's when all these weird videos start where she's, like, in that weird beige compound in Vegas just doing dances. And everybody says that her dad's basically, you know, the narrative is that her dad's kind of making her do these videos like, yeah, get out there and do a twirl and show them, you know, you're still alive type of a thing. A lot of them, she's wearing the same outfits.
You should have my friend Chrissy Meyer on. I
love her show. Dude, she had some really hot takes with this whole thing. This is where I'm getting a lot of this.
She broke down that they released her video in they sped it up so she sounded even crazier, which I think they do that so she sees it and she goes crazy. She's like, why do I sound like that?
Oh, wow. Because her voice now has this effect on it, and she speaks like this.
And that's not real. Because you slow it down, you hear the regular talk.
The bird chirping thing, dude, you retweeted that video, right? There's a video, y'all, where they slow down her talking 10%, and she just talks like this. She sounds like me with a deep-ass voice, and you can hear the birds in the background sound normal. They're not like, me, 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 all sped up. It's weird, dude. I mean, the wear a yellow top thing if you're in trouble is weird. Everybody's talked about that to death, but basically they said, hey, Britney, you know, somebody in the comments said, wear a yellow shirt if you're in trouble. The next post was like, this is me and my new favorite yellow top, all in caps in the caption, like just signaling.
Oh, I'm sure she wants out. The problem is she has incredibly awful taste in men. And she ends up dating these guys. See, here's the problem. When you're a woman at that level, right? Like, let's say like Therese, what's her name? Therese Theron. How do you pronounce her name?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, right? She always says like men don't approach her. She always talks about that. And probably the truth is the only ones who approach them are crazy guys who like, fuck it, I got nothing to lose. And they just, and like the normal guys be like, I got no chance with that. Oh, shucks. And they just
and
they walk off.
That, like girls like Paris Hilton, like how are people ever going to find love and not know like that you want to be with Britney and not just Britney Spears? Yeah, you know, that dude that's her boyfriend, I think it's like a prostitute her dad hired.
Wouldn't doubt it. And here's the whole thing. Casey Anthony has a boyfriend. Well, how can she have a boyfriend who has a kid? Like, it's the world's bizarre. Yeah, look that up.
That blows my mind. He has a fucking kid?
A daughter.
Oh, shit. Better hope no wet T-shirt contest come to town because she does not want to be tied up for those.
So it's just weird. It's just weird. And it just sucks, man, because
but do you think there's any chance that Britney Spears is just happy and she's a billionaire, like laughing at us all? Because this is the thing. She would have come out and said, you guys are so crazy. Free Britney, like calm down with all that. No, she didn't say one word ever.
Yeah, and I look into her eyes. That's crazy eyes, dude.
It's so crazy.
It's crazy eyes. And she probably just doesn't have a moment to just be alone. And dude, we see it happen all the time. What, like, dude, you know, you want to be Kevin Hart? Do you want to be Taylor Swift? You're the biggest star ever. You don't have your life anymore. And if you try to quit, they can off you and put a fucking clone in your place. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that shit's real.
I've heard that theory about Britney too, because the spinning and the dancing and all that it's a literal robot that they just like, all right, turn her on, go out there and make a video.
Who knows what they have?
I love watching Frozen and eating chicken tenders, and I love a margarita on a summer day. Like, she never says anything. Dude, this cuckoo bird.
She's a super talented girl who's like should be working at fucking Walmart. You know, like that's the stock right there. You know, her sister
literally no school probably
got knocked up by that pedo, most likely, allegedly by that pedo at Nickelodeon, and nobody's talking about that. And just like
I haven't heard that much about that. Can you talk more about
Dan
that?
Schneider, I think is his name,
and
right?
He worked for Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me look this up real quick.
Dude, yeah, you never hear about her. Like, where are they in all of this? You know, it used to always be, oh, I'm with my mom, like her everywhere with the mom. Not one picture, not one mention. And if you go to the mom's Instagram too, she doesn't have anything.
Yeah, it's Dan Schneider, Schneider. Yeah, it's believed that he got her pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, all those girls that are billionaires, you got to just really close your legs from that jizz because they're all trying to get in there. Everybody wants a meal ticket. Fucking Nick Cannon, the most disgusting of them all. Like, you just want to nut in somebody and never have to worry about anything again, don't you?
Well, I don't know. I had a buddy of mine got the daughter of a billionaire pregnant, and she wanted insane child support. Like, so it's like it could be flipped the other way too.
Oh, right. Then it's just you're working for the rest of your life to
just trying to keep this baby in like a gold Mercedes Benz that is at 2 years old and shit like that. But it's like there's a level of fame that it's like Rogan, God bless him, that he has a mental fortitude to be able to keep that train on tracks, because that's too big. That to me it's just too big. Every word you say is overanalyzed 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I like talking shit. I enjoy it. It makes me feel good. I love to say my real opinions, and I don't like to hold back. And I like, if I could get the show maybe a little bit bigger, that'd be about it. But I don't want it too big.
Yeah,
I don't want it too big, because then you
want Ghost and Ninja to be able to walk outside and
they're gonna know Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu. They're going to be shit talkers, and they're going to fight like raptors, okay? Like, you know, you ever watch Jurassic Park where like one raptor gets you and you're like, hey, you want to fight? The other raptor comes from the side and just fucking clips you. That's going to be Ghost and Ninja. You're going to square up with one, and the other one comes to the side and just fucking shanks you, and you bleed out, and then they tell 3 dick jokes and they get the fuck out.
Sam Tripoli, everybody. Go check out the Tinfoil Hat podcast. Name all 37. Mental Gymnastics.
I have Tinfoil Hat. I have Punch Drunk. I have Broken Simulation. Then I have some Patreons. I'm doing Zero. It's on Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. That's my spiritual podcast. Then I have my Tinfoil Hat Patreon, where I do basically a daily dose on whatever the big conspiracy that day is. You know, I always say the Tinfoil Hat podcast is like Family Guy, and then the Patreon is like South Park, where you get more up-to-date comedy.
Nice. Love it.
I have Broken Simulation, which is Broken Simulation. I don't know if you'll get the reference, but do you listen to sports? Do you like sports? That's okay. We call it the Sports Center for the Apocalypse, where basically we just go over how the fucking world is burning. There's a Patreon for that, and then Bryan Callen asked me to start a show. We've done one episode. I'll do that for as long as I can. Help that guy, whatever he needs.
Amazing.
I'll do a show with him, and I love it. I could talk to Callen all day, so we'll see where that goes, and we'll have fun with it.
Well, we got a lot of y'all's fans here, so we need to check that out. You and I have a very similar fan base, Mr. Sam Tripoli. I'm proud to say.
That's cool. Hey,
I'm
man, if you
very proud that I
don't
finally
fake the
got
funk
you.
on a nasty dunk, you'll get that. That's cool that we have the same people. I think you're going to do great. I just think you just need to just believe in yourself and just crank it and not worry about, you keep worrying about getting canceled. Fuck it, man.
Yeah, fuck it.
The best thing you could do to you is get canceled, because then you'll get this whole pirate fucking group of people that will love you. The best thing that ever happened to Shane Gillis was getting fired from Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. He's going to have a long career. That probably saved him from trying to become a fucking hack to make everybody happy. And now he's able to do. Now he has no other choice than to be himself.
Can only be you.
Listen, here's what you should do. Bang a bunch of black guys and just be raw as fuck on stage.
All right. Good advice.
That's
good
your
advice from my
Uncle Sam.
mentor.
Bang black guys
Sam.
and talk mad shit on stage.
I love you for being here, Sam. Thank you so
anytime.
much.
We'll do it again as soon as I come off my hiatus, because I need 2 seconds to breathe. But after that, I'd love to help you. Hope this is okay. Every time I just want to, I'm a lecturer. I'm like dad now of comedy.
I love it. I love it.
You're the best.
I know what to expect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.